Queens, you're welcome back again to another tutorial video. This is your first time of seeing my video. My name is Esther. This is Queen Sewing Tutorials. On this platform I share sewing tutorials. This is going to be the sewing part of these tutorials. The other videos have been on how to cut and how to draft, so this is the concluding part of this video. This is a complete beginners friendly tutorial, and also in the course of this tutorial I'm also going to be sharing with you some mistakes to avoid. So make sure you watch this video to the very end. Like this video, drop your comment, drop your question, whatever. I'm there to reply to all your questions if you have any in the comment section. All of that being said, let us get started with these tutorials. This is the yoke part of the blouse, and if you notice I have gone ahead to increase this opening. It's because if I had used the formal one that I cut out, it would have been so small, so sewing on it would be very difficult. Now it is time for us to go ahead and fix the tiny stripes that are around the opening of this yoke, and to do that I have gone ahead to sew a very long stripes from my Mikado, and I went on to cut this into 2 inches. I will go on to place this on my fabric first before turning it with the lining. So this is the way I'm going to be placing it on my fabric. So I didn't use any special measurement for this. Just make sure that from the point you are pinning to the point you are going to be flipping over to sew, they are just facing the same direction. Just watch what I'm doing, you understand. So now I'll go on to just stitch on this point first, then I will flip over. So this is what I'm talking about. Make sure they are just facing the same point. Okay, make sure you're flipping over to the same point, like they're facing the same, they're just facing the same direction, if you understand what I mean. I was done with the first part. This was what it gave me. I'll go ahead and repeat the same process for every other part. So you can go ahead and watch this video all over again, just in case you are confused about this very part. So make sure your stripes are not too long, like they're just not long. Make sure they're just equal enough to give it that tight fitting. Okay, so I'll just go on to do these other points like so. You can see the way I'm pinning, and I'm just going to be flipping it, and it's going to be on the same point also from this other side that I'm flipping to. I hope I'm not confusing you with my whole explanations. Guys, when I was making this video, NEPA really dealt with me. So as you can see, I had to bring this outside to show you what I did. So I've gone ahead to do this, and now I am just going to be turning this over with my lining. So this is going to be a bit confusing for you, but just try to pay attention. The way I am placing my lining, did you see the way I'm placing my lining? Now you're just going to place your lining all the way like so. Take this over to your sewing machine and just sew, right? This part is a bit difficult, so I'm very sure you are smart enough to figure this out. So just like so, I'm just going to place my lining and I will just sew, right? Yeah, I'm just going to continue to sew like this. I hope this part is really not confusing you. This is the way to actually go about recreating the yoke part of this blouse, and that is the only way that can guarantee a neat finishing. When I was done, this is what I got, and you can see how neat this is looking. You're going to need to notch this properly, okay, to turn it out very well. Guys, that was NEPA light. NEPA really dealt with me, I'm not even going to lie. And for that yoke, make sure you iron it. Like you're going to iron it very well to make sure that everything comes out and it is looking neat. So I went on to join my yoke to the bodies, and I just notched the middle point of the bodies and notched the middle point of my yoke, and I just took it over to my sewing machine and I stitched on them. So now I'm trying to place my body on the Mikado, and you can see that I had to still work on the asymmetric effects because after cutting I realized that some excesses were on the fabric, so I need to go on and cut out every excesses. So this is going to be like the final point, like the final stage of working on this symmetric M line. If you notice from the beginning of this video, this tutorial, we have been working on this asymmetric M line. So right now this is the final touching. Okay, this is very important for you to do to get a perfect look. So when I was satisfied with the hemline, I'm just going to be turning this over with my lining. Okay, I will bring the lining of the bustier and I'm just going to turn this over. Now this point is also very hard. All right, you can see that I still have to work on the lining, so I'm trying to place this my fabric on my lining so that I can cut this out also to make sure that the lining and the fabric are both aligning very well. Queens, I am so sorry if this video is very fast. I just didn't want it to be too long, so I've gone ahead to turn this. I stitched on the upper part and I stitched on the lower part. So on the upper part you want to be really careful, okay, because you're going to have a little bit of difficulty when you are turning this. It's not really difficult, just be patient with the process and I'm sure you'll be able to pull that through. Now I am done and I've gone ahead to turn this over, and I will place this on my mikado and I'll just stitch. I'll make a top stitch, right? You see the way I am just demonstrating with my finger. I'll just make a top stitch all around. Okay, so just make sure this is equal, it is sitting properly on your mikado, so you can see what the back is giving and what the front is also giving. So I have gone over to set that aside and now it is time for us to work on the sleeve. So on this sleeve part, at the end of the sleeve, I will go over to use my chalk now to make a scallop. Like I'm just going to make these curves all around it, just like it is on the main blouse we are recreating. So I'm sorry you cannot see the chalk mark, but you can just take note of what I'm doing. So this is the way I'm just going to make this scallop design, like kind of like a W shape. I will just continue to do this until I get to the end of the sleeve. So watch how I'm going to be cutting this out with my scissors. You can see the way I went on to cut that out. So now I have also gone ahead to cut out two lining pieces for it after I was done cutting out the scallop, and I'm going to be taking this over to the sewing machine now and I will just turn this out with my lining just like that. So make sure you also notch this because you cannot turn it out without notching. I will also go on to give this a very good iron press and this is the result. So remember these circle pieces that we cut out initially during the drafting part of this tutorial? It is time for us to make use of it. So this is what we are going to be using to create the opening around the sleeves. So I just went on to trim this off a little bit so that it cannot be too wide. Okay, so I'll be placing this now on my sleeve. So this was exactly the way it was on the main style we are recreating. This is the way I'm just going to be placing it, like so. I'll go on to place it on all parts of these sleeves, right? And if you take note, you can see that I'm actually placing it from the point where I drew out that scallop, like where I cut out that scallop. So this is the same thing you are going to be doing. So please, if you don't have a soldering iron, you really need to get one. Well, I was supposed to use a soldering iron, but I ended up not using any soldering iron because my soldering iron went bad. It didn't work, so I had to use scissors for it. But if I am recreating this style again, I will not be using a scissors. I will look for a soldering iron because you can only get a neat finishing when you have a soldering iron. So please look for a soldering iron. Okay, this is the back part of my blouse and I have used my pattern to cut on my fabric and the lining, and I also went on to interface the lining. And for the zipper, I'm going to be using an inseam method to fix my zipper, and you can see that I'm fixing first on my Ankara piece before I'll be turning with my fabric. So you see the way I'm fixing this. I'll take this over to the sewing machine now and I'll just sew it on that part. So this is the part I want to talk about, this back part. While I was drafting the pattern, I actually made a mistake. I was supposed to make sure that the waistline is kind of exaggerated, just like the front part was, but I did not make the waistline exaggerated, and this made my back part a bit small. So I had shortage of fabric at the back part compared to the front part. But don't worry, during the end of this video I'm going to be showing you how I was able to fix that mistake. So for the zipper, you saw when I went on to attach the other side, to the zipper, and you can see the way it is looking right now. Now I'm going to be turning this over with my lining, and I'll just place my lining like so, right sides facing each other, and I'll take this over to my sewing machine, and I'm just going to be stitching from the neck like that, and I'll just turn over like so, and I'll cover up with this. I'll go on to cover down to to where the zipper is. For the lower part of this blouse, I'm not going to be doing anything on it yet. Just go ahead now to finish up with the zipper part, and I'll come back to that later because I'll still need to work on the back part. So this is the front part of our blouse, and I'm just trying to trim off this point. Okay, this is very important. I don't know if you can leave this, but I just went on to cut mine. I think you should cut out, right? I think you should cut out for it to be more relaxed. Okay, so I am done with the front part, and now I am back to the back part. To correct our mistake, I took out the darts that I already sewed, and I'm going to be converting this into like an armhole dart. So from the zipper line, I came out by 4 inches, which is my nipple to nipple measurement, and I'm just going to draw all the way to the end and into my armhole like so. So now I'll place my tape on my shoulder line, and I'll come down from my under bust, which is at 16 inches. So this is going to like this is where I'm going to be creating my exaggerated hip. Okay, like that waist exaggeration that is on the blouse, on the front blouse. So that was actually the reason why I even had to do this. So I'll go ahead now, and I will just cut. Watch the way I'm going to be cutting this out. So when I was done cutting from this side, I will place it like so on the other side, right? And I'm just going to be cutting out also like that. Okay, just like that. I'll go ahead to cut out, and everything I got was still equal. I have my 4 inches nipple to nipple measurement, and I'll just go on to cut out like so. So I'm going to be bringing out this already cut out piece, and I'll be placing it on a pattern this way. Did you see the way I'm placing it on the pattern? I'll just place it like so on a pattern, and I'm just going to be creating my exaggerated waist, and also add as much allowance that I need on this blouse. Did you see? I'm sorry, I lost that clip. Okay, but you see what I did? I came up by 2 inches, and I made sure that this waistline became wider. So I'll go ahead and I'll cut this out. Now I also like to state that this process is completely avoidable. Okay, you don't need to go through this stress I'm going through. I made the mistake by not adding this exaggerated hip on my pattern. So when you are drafting on your pattern, please just make sure that you take note of your waist area. Make sure it is wide and it is complementing the front part. This is basically a princess dart cutting, and what I am doing right now is that I'm just extending the armhole by 1 inches. Okay, because you know, if you cut it out like that, you're going to have shortage. So I just went on to extend the armhole area by 1 inch. Now when I was done, I went on to cut that out, and I'll take this over to my ironing table right now, and I'll just add my lining, my interface, and all of that, and I'll just go ahead to turn this out. Okay, another important thing to note, okay, at the end of this blouse, the bottom part, this part that looks like it has a scallop cutting, if you can, please add a peplum stay, or please go ahead and add a peplum stay, because you know the front part is having a peplum stay. So you can add a little stay, or even if it's an interface, something stronger than just a hair stay. It to also have its own fitting at the back, like for it to have a little bit of structure at the back also. So these are just my little mistakes, corrections, and also my take on this blouse. All right, so if it is something you want to recreate, look out for that. So as you can see, I now have a lot of allowance on this blouse at the back part, and right now I can continue with my sewing. I went on to join the shoulder to shoulder, the shoulder of the front and the shoulder of the back, and I will just go ahead and I will stitch it those way. So you can see the way I am pinning this down, right? Because I want that shoulder part to be very neat. So I'm going to be stitching like so. When I was done stitching, I went on to just impute my body measurement. So the first thing I'm going to do now is that I'm just going to identify my underbust, which is at 16 inches, where the exaggerated effect is at, and I'll mark that out on both sides. So I'll just go ahead to impute my bust measurement for the bust area, my waist measurement on the waist area, and when I get to the exaggerated waist, I'm just going to be, just curve that out. But please, you want to make sure you're not overdoing this, because when you turn this out, you may just have a funny looking structure. Okay, make sure it is not too exaggerated, and in case you have it too exaggerated, go ahead and just work on it again. So I'll go ahead also, and on the other side I'm just going to impute my body measurement like I did for the first part. And when I was done with that, I went on to trim off the excesses. I don't like excesses on my clothes. When I was done, I opened this out and I noticed it was a bit hard on the sides, so I had to open up and I notch the allowances so that it can be relaxed. With that, I was done with the bodies of this blouse, and I'm just going to focus on the sleeve. For this sleeve part, instead of using this method I am using now, make sure you are using a soldering iron. Do not use a scissors to create these holes. If you use a scissors to create this hole, you might end up with a rough work. The soldering iron is going to ensure that the holes are looking neat, okay, like no strands is pulling off. If you use your scissors, it's going to make it look rough, and you will end up needing to turn it over just the way I am doing now, which will even make it look more rough. But if you are using your soldering iron, all you need to do is to just fix these strands that I'm fixing outside. Just go ahead and fix it inside the holes, then use your hemming gum to hem it up, and that is just it. You can see that after sewing on mine, this is looking rough, but if I had used hemming gum, it would have been looking very, very neat. Okay, so I will not advise you to use this method. Just go ahead and use the soldering iron and the hemming gum method. I hope that point is very clear. So now it is time for me to shape in my sleeve and attach it to my bodice. So on my elbow line, I'm just going to take my round elbow circumference, connect it into my armhole and also to the full length of the sleeve, and this is what I have. And I'll go on to just attach this to the body of my blouse. So I'm going to be attaching this armhole seam allowance facing the armhole seam allowance of the blouse, and I will pin it down. I'm just going to stitch on this, and with that we have come to the end of this video. Go ahead and ask your question in the comment section, and until then I'll see you all on my next video. Bye, and thanks for watching.